shut up, you Americans. You always talk, you Americans. You talk and you talk and you say, let me tell you something, and I just want to say this. Well, you're dead now, so shut up.
There isn't a government on this planet that wouldn't kill us all for that.
Welcome to Uncle Benny's Creepy Campfire Stories. I'm your host, Uncle Benny. Thanks for joining me on this, well, I don't know when you're watching it, but this is Wednesday, July the 24th, 2019 AD. And here to knock one out. Just need to. I'm not really feeling like it. I've been, I'm Uncle Benny, and I'm just a human being, and I rarely get sick. Thank God for that. But I've been really, really ill for about 3 days, and I'm still ill. Frighteningly ill. But, I'll get better. But you know what? I felt this was important to do. Partly, one thing I do when I'm not feeling good is I try to keep going about my routine. That really helps a lot. And, pressing on through, maybe just taking a little easier. So anyway, here we are. And by nature of my lack of energy and, in my work this morning, I made a few kind of blunders and, just nothing too drastic, but just what you might call rookie mistakes, I guess you'd say. So, maybe it's because I took an aspirin early on. I mean, I would hate to think that an aspirin would do something to my cognition, but well, when you're not feeling good, you're just not as focused. Maybe you didn't sleep as good. Who knows? Anyway, here we are. Enough about that. I'm just kind of doing a warm up here, I guess. Get my motor running. So we're here to look at the drudgery part. What I have in front of you. And again, if you're new to this channel, right? Uncle Benny's Creepy Campfire Stories. Well, these are not creepy campfire stories. I need to say this again. This is a side project, which sort of is becoming, the thing, but it's not. It's not what I started this channel for. It's just something I decided to do and use this channel for it, and it fits. And it's actually turned into a very good exercise for me. And I wonder that it's not something that contributed to me being ill. I've been doing this about maybe 7 weeks. I guess I started, I think, June 5th. It's like I say many times, take a break from the news. Go outside and play. If you cannot frame the news in the Word of God, if you cannot frame it in wisdom, if you don't understand logical fallacies, if you don't know how to critically think, if you can't spot terrible journalism, then stay away from the news, the newspaper, the political magazines, the talking heads, the radio commentary. Stay away from it. You need to balance that ratio between how much time you spend maybe in reading Psalms and Proverbs and prayer and understanding doctrine, and if the ratio is like 100 on the news side to 0 on the spending time in the Word, or feeding yourself with the Word of God in some way, whether it's sermons, devotions, or something, then you've got no business. You're going to be you're no match for it. You're going to be destroyed because there's tremendous witchcraft, tremendous mind control propaganda that's been engineered for not just decades, not just a century, for millennia, okay? The powers that shouldn't be have been perfecting the art of world mass domination and control for millennia, okay? And these are the last days. We've seen it again and again. I show it to you nearly every episode. You don't have to believe it. And if this video, I put verses that come to mind. And again, one of the purposes, again, if you're new, is that I go through this, and I'm just trying to. I do this for me, first of all. It's my own little exercise and devotion. But I thought, I need to share this with somebody because it also helps me to vocalize it, to articulate it. And if I go through this and I say, this is what goes on in me when I see and read these things, and you are not familiar with that way of thinking about things, well, I'm glad you're here, because you can be, you ought to be, you have your own unique gifts and talents that can be utilized through this. But we've got no business with the shite of the world, and having it preoccupy our minds, the evil forebodings, the uncertainty, the fear, the anxiety, the doom. I've shown you that. I've shown you it in the Word not to do it. Why? Well, the battle belongs to the Lord, okay? It really does. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got you and me, brother, in his hands. He's got you and me, sister, in his hands. Just like the little song that if you learned it in summer, what do they call it? Vacation Bible school. Fantastic. If you didn't, then I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you missed something like that. Yeah, churchianity is bad. Churchianity is really why the world is the way it is. Partly because the time is short, and the demonic activity and Satan knows it's short, and they're ramping it up. And one reason they're allowed to do that is because the church has been infiltrated for a couple thousand years now with false teachers, false doctrines, demonic doctrines. What all false doctrines are? They're demonic doctrines. You cannot just say, oh, well, it's just not true. There are people who are in error. There are people who just, that's where they are in their understanding, but there's those who clearly teach false doctrines about, false theology, about Christianity and about other quote unquote religions, right? All right, so moving on. I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. I don't care what the stock market is doing today. It went up, but it's a depression. I don't care what they say, the job reports and everything, but there's a lot of people out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel worth and banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter unless they're in Chicago. Punks are running wild in the street with guns, in Chicago especially. There's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. We know the air is unfit to breathe, our food is unfit to eat. If you don't know that, you need to know that. We sit watching our TVs, or now our computer screens and our phones, while some local head newscaster, or maybe a national newscaster, tells us that today we had 15 homicides. Well, that's just one day on a Saturday in Chicago, by the way. And 63 violent crimes, as if to say that's the way it's supposed to be. We all know things are bad. Worse than bad. They're crazy. Okay, so that was a little bit of an embellished, part of Howard Beale's rant from the movie Network. I've brought that up now, I think, every day since last Thursday or Friday. And I continue to do that. I think it's so good. That movie, you got to see it if you've never seen it or heard of it. Watch the movie Network. It will help. It really pertains to what we're doing here, okay? What I'm doing here. And you're watching. You're part of it. So anyway, enough about that. So I brought up, this is an archive. This is yesterday afternoon, okay? This is the Drudge Report, the most popular conservative news aggregate in the world. And if you look down here, this was, past 24 hours from 7/23/19 was 30 million and almost 30, well, rounding up, right? 31 million in the past 24 hours. It's a lot of people. Most of these people are not on the level where they're just watching MSNBC or MSN when they close their, live account or whatever, or when they go to their Hotmail, or, what's another one? Maybe Yahoo News, or, some of that kind of stuff. Or watching ABC, NBC, and that. I'm sure many of them do, but these people are probably going to be more conservative and probably a little bit more aware, let's say. Doesn't mean they're in the know about things, but it does mean that they may be. So anyway, a lot of these people tend to be more intelligent, I would say. I'm just speculating, and probably influential. Okay, anyway, what I want to bring why I pulled this up yesterday's. I wasn't fit to make a video yesterday. I was just way too doubled over in pain. New York Times, only 35 arrested in ICE raids. I'm bringing this up for two reasons. Let me get my selfish interest out of the way first. And that is, when this first was announced, I think it was early June, Trump said that in a week or two, they were going to, on a Sunday, they were going to have ICE raids and round up like 1 million immigrants. And I'd made a Sludge report then, and I'm like, are you kidding me? And, just looking at, again, in the wisdom of the word, it's in vain to spread a net in the sight of any bird. Now think about that. How are you going to catch a bird when he's sitting in the tree watching you put the trap out? Animals aren't that stupid. So at any rate, you see the point, the illustration and the application, that was foolish. You could argue, well, the media, they should have published that. The guy tweeted it, I believe. That's pretty much how we hear anything from him. So he announced preliminarily ahead of time. It's like if you were told that people knew you were going on vacation and a robber mailed you a letter and said, "I'm going to rob your house on Tuesday of next week at 8 p.m." You might make arrangements to either stay home or have someone stay at your house, or let the police know. It's the same thing. I mean, I'm telling this and again, I touch on this quite often because it's so apparent to me. It's like, I can understand people thinking he's the great white hope. He had great rhetoric. He was fitting, just like a salesman knows how to find that need and push those buttons. Oh, he was a master at it in the election cycle, and he continues to do that. He goes on these rallies and things like that and keeps stoking the fires of this artificial hope that he's the man he's the white knight, the underdog who's just being frustrated by the swamp. And I've talked to you about, he filled it. If anything, he surrounded himself with, quote, the swamp. Why? Then he's a horrible businessman. Okay, horrible decisions. So what I want to liken this to is one of those 3D art posters. If you've never seen one, ask somebody. Somebody you know's got one. Maybe they'll pull it out of the closet and show you what I'm talking about. So you're going to look at it and you're just going to see a bunch of patterns and kind of gibberish. It's kind of like not that attractive. But once you sort of unfocus your eyes, all of a sudden the depth of field opens up and you see, it's really amazing. You see things in 3 dimensions, and that 2-dimensional poster all of a sudden is something spectacularly, complex and interesting, and it's an interesting phenomenon. The only thing that changed was your thinking or your perception. So once you've seen it, though, you can easily see it every time, a lot more than the first time. So those of you who are still Trumpsters, Trump supporters, Trump defenders, and ever-Trumpers even, there's some of those, and there's those who won't ever be reached, and they're likely not watching this. I understand it's kind of like someone cannot let go of that last bastion of self-delusion, or they'll lose their freaking mind. Okay? And that's too bad. The world is bad. We all know it's bad. It's crazy, right? They got to hang on to something. Well, I will tell you, I'll make this statement. Maybe I'm going a little too fast and getting ahead of myself here, but if you have put that kind of hope in this man, especially after you can see these things, knowing what I know after seeing these things, after the evidence is plain as the nose on your face, then you've made a god out of him. Yeah. Am I getting a little too preachy? Good. I had a very close friend recently sent me a message about these videos, and they're like, oh, you've got just the right amount of the Bible in there. Otherwise, it's to be too much for those who are seeking. And look, I'm not seeker sensitive. I don't really give a shit about that. That's why the church is in the mess that it's in. I really was surprised this individual, or maybe I wasn't. I don't know. I was really surprised that they would even say that to me. It's unbelievable. It's like, don't you get it? I guess not. It's going to be what it is. I do some homework before I start these. I pray about it. Part of the purpose of this is to frame this in the Word of God. I can do all kinds of talking, but the only thing that's really effectual is the living Word. Okay? Actually, the more I can work into this, the better. And one of the reasons I'm doing this, again, if you're new, is that I've kind of felt myself getting rusty. I need to start, because I'll read these things and things will kind of come to mind, but I don't remember where they are and stuff like that. So now, I make myself go look them up and read them again, and maybe I'll pull out a word and kind of do a little word study on it, and, not hard. I just look it up in the Strongs or whatever. That's like a Hebrew or Greek dictionary type of thing. Anyway, so, okay, way back. I'm going way far afield. New York Times, only 35 arrested in ice raids. So he announced it once, then they called it off, right? So then a few weeks later, they announced it again, ahead of time. And I remember saying at that same time, it's like, look at this. You think this guy is serious? 30 months. That's 24 months plus 6. That's 2 years and 6 months. Last I checked is half a year. 2.5 years. Ran on build a wall, right? Ran on it. Oh, I'm so frustrated. I can't do it. I say it every time. This could be stopped with one order to the National Guard. Get down there, support the border agents, close off that border. We're being invaded, right? I'm not even talking Army, Marines, and Air Force or Navy. Just the National Guard. What are they there for? Parades, right? Are shooting people on campus when they demonstrate, like in Ohio State? What are they there for? Yeah. So at any rate, this is how it shakes out. Finally, they did the raid. 1 million. We're going to get 1 million. And I said, it gives every single one of them a chance to get out of their last known address and go over to, cousin so-and-so's, or go back home to their country, or, get on the road for a while till this blows over. Only 35 arrested in ice raids. That's like, how many are arrested on a regular basis? I don't know. I don't know if that's any different, or maybe it's less. Maybe the regular people got a day off and the raid people, they went and found 35. How much money? I didn't even think about this before. How much money did this roundup cost? How many cities was it in? Are we asking that question? Let's go to this article. I've never done that. I got to keep this short. Okay. More than 2,000 migrants. Well, I'm pretty sure he said 1 million. Let's say, I know he will. Let's say, so what? 2,000. What's the percentage? Okay. What's the percentage? Let's just do that real quick. 35. If you ever went to school, probably learned division, how to make a percentage. Not even 2% of the ones that they had good intel on were arrested. How many illegals are here? Well, they're still using a decade or more old number of 11 million, and there's more like 60 million, 40 to 60. Who knows? Who knows? Nobody knows. Yet somehow they can count all the people on the planet. Oh, if governments can if governments can cooperate that well to get numbers like that going door to door, why can't they agree on anything else? Okay. 35 people were detained. Doesn't even say, I don't know what that means. Called Operation Border Resolve. Well, what does that tell you right there? Think about this. There's no resolve. Your man, Trumpers, has no resolve. President Trump. Operation Border Control, no resolve is what this ought to be called, right? Renamed. Cross it out. Get your Sharpie. Cross it out. Operation Border, no resolve. And I'm sounding a little militant here, as far as, there's a YouTuber. I don't really watch his videos. He always sounds so angry. I don't mean to sound that way. I've kind of even running a little bit of a temperature. Please forgive me. I'm also trying to go fast, but I'm also letting this is like one of those resolutions where I said this a month ago, and then I said it again, and then here we go, and this is how it shook out. And I each one of those times I was trying to say to people, your guy is a puppet. He's Israel's lapdog. He does not have anything to do with your interests. He may do some good. He may be seeming to, make the economy. We're running on trillions of dollars of debt. He can point to Obama all he wants. But that's not why you've got the plunge protection team helping things out. You've got a lot of artificial, we're kind of in a bubble. There's a reason the economy's, quote, going up, you know. It ain't going to go up forever. And again, this guy being, got to think about who runs the central banks, and this guy being a certain puppet for a certain group of people doing their bidding, okay? Of course, they need to, you know, it almost seems like, well, he's doing a good job for him. He's almost certain to get the next win. I don't know. On the other hand, it seems like a ramping up for a real physically violent civil war, not just the little smatterings of violence at protests, but I'm talking like out and out, just crazy mayhem. All right, let's move on here. Let's see. I don't mean to get into any kind of hyperbole or speculation. I really don't. Okay, he postponed the raids in June. I just told you about that. And then he said ahead of time they'd take place last week. So maybe he said it. Oh, okay, no, he just he announced it, then he announced it again. So maybe he postponed it the one time. Okay, whatever, it doesn't matter. I thought he only did it once. So he announced it twice, though. All right. But here, listen to this. This is what I want to get to, because I did look at this earlier. The publicity may have prompted many of those who've been targeted, 2,105 people in more than a dozen cities. So now we have a dozen cities. That's about 2 to 3. That's one person less than 2 people per city. 35 people. So if there was 3 dozen, it'd be 36, right? That's like 2 people per city. Are you kidding? I could go to the frickin' grocery store, Walmart right now, and round up more than that. And I don't even live like in California. I mean, that's funny. That's gold, Jerry. That's funny. I could probably go to my local Walmart and round up 35 people. Yeah, how about that? Take that. Okay? Put that in your pipe and smoke it. And you could too. All right, who had received final deportation orders but not reported immigration and customs enforcement. I mean, that's a little bit of an exaggeration. I don't know, but you get the idea, right? I'm sure it'd be more than 2 in this city. Let's see. It caused them to temporarily leave their homes. I said that 4 to 6 weeks ago, whenever it was, or to move altogether to evade arrests. No stuff. Okay. Advance notice of the large-scale operation also gave immigrant advocates. Now this was good. I didn't think of this before. Also gave immigrant advocates time to counsel families about their rights, which include not opening the door or answering questions. On social media, community groups shared detailed information about sightings of ICE agents. All right, that's enough of this. You get it? What's the takeaway from this? This guy is it's one or the other. He's either incompetent or he's done this on purpose. And if he's done this on purpose, you need to give yourself a hard examination of why you believe a damn thing he says about basically anything. Because he's duplicitous. Basically, he dissembles with his lips. He's a liar. Or a fool. Okay? You need to choose which one because there's not another option. Okay, there you go. Let's move on to today's. Excuse me. Okay. Yeah, I'm sounding a little bit kind of hyped up. I'm sorry. Sometimes I guess I get a little excited. Let's see. Mueller, I don't want to get into all this. Some more of the drama. All the world's a stage. Now they're like, it's kind of making it like the Dems are disappointed. But then, I don't know. I haven't watched any of this. I did watch like a 30-second clip of them basically saying, oh, it's like he's sick or he's old and he's not responding or they're reading the questions too fast, whatever. It's just more drama. It's just drama. Keep you distracted. Okay. Let's see. Again to the new people. The Drudge Report was started in a Hollywood apartment in Matt Drudge's bedroom as a Hollywood and Washington, D.C. gossip column, and I posit that it still is. So you always see news like this. It's not news. You don't need to waste your time. Let me start over. Make no mistake, I waste my time myself on plenty of things I shouldn't waste my time on. But that's why I need to speak like this. I need to hear people speaking like this. Help me remember, we make each other sharper. This is just, what's the word? It's shite, really. George Michael Squatter, ex-boyfriend, arrested for smashing up a star's mansion. Oh, let's go see what this juicy bit is. Let's not, All right, let's see. Zombie eaters. Okay, so I think it was in Sunday's report. I pulled up the Wikipedia article on zombies, and I was talking about millennials being basically zombies. Okay. How about that? There you go. Zombie eaters. The zombie eaters. 80% of adults, 88% of adults stare at screens while dining. Well, you know, that in itself is not a crime. I mean, I pretty much very often eat in front of watching some YouTube video or whatever because I don't have a family around me or anything like that. Let's move on. Paleo tied to heart disease. Okay, now I don't know if this is the article I'd seen on another, like a social media site. I just happened to just scroll across it this morning. I didn't even think about it when I saw this article earlier. Paleo tied to heart disease. Now, I'm pretty sure that paleo is a low-carb diet, okay? I saw this lady post something about low-carb diets contribute to heart disease. Now, I did not go out of my way to reply to her or whatever. You know, I just can't be bothered to argue with people. Maybe she's a shill. Who knows? But, you know, remember the mind control manipulation. There are more and more people who are becoming aware of the food problem in our country, the obesity epidemic, and the fact that carbs are sugar and that our diets are way high in sugar, I think more than anywhere else in the world. You know, the number one killer of women is heart disease. Did you know that? It is. It's true. You look around. Look at the youth today. So many of them are, you know, thick. Let's just say that. Why? You know? Paleo tied to heart disease. Well, what's this all about? I'm just going to, don't even need to click on it. I'm just, and maybe I'm wrong. If you're like, well, paleo is not low carb. Okay, I'm sorry. Well, then I'm just talking about the article I saw earlier in the headline. Low carb, well, I guess we'll go there. What the hell? Caveman diet. Well, caveman weren't probably baking bread, so it probably is low carb. Let's see. Come on. Okay, protein heavy, low carb. You know, it's basically a keto, limited fruit. Well, fruit's going to throw you out of ketosis. So at any rate, yeah, low carb. And it was a different article that that lady posted, but it's the same thing. So now there's two kind of different prongs, at least two articles, some scientific study, some, I don't know, really. You got to be careful with these studies because now what's happening? Well, they want to create, who's they? Powers that shouldn't be. Say it with me, okay? Well, they're going to lose their grip on what they're doing with the toxic food. That's going to affect, it's going to affect the healthcare industry. It's going to affect the cancer industry. Can't have that. Got to keep them fat and stupid, okay? Healthy enough to work, weak enough they can't protest, and dumb enough they can't think for themselves. How do you do that? Put fluoride in the water, feed them shite, educate them in government schools, destroy their belief in the Lord, in the Bible, in church and all that, corrupt their morals, on and on, right? Okay, moving on. Many people in hospitals, by the way, if you've never heard this, you may go flying out of the back of the wagon right now. Many people in hospitals are there because of sin. They're there because of their own sin. Whether it's polluting themselves with tobacco or alcohol or eating unhealthy foods or being slothful all their life and now they've got heart disease. Hey, listen, I'm no Superman. I'm not in perfect shape. I mean, I was athletic younger and I was raised with having really good meals. My mom she cooked at home and things like that. And we didn't get to go to McDonald's and she didn't buy sugary cereals. And I grew up on well water. I had an advantage in that. I really did. I think it made a difference, but I didn't know better. I was microwaving burritos for a snack after school in the plastic bag in a microwave for 1 minute and 30 seconds. That was real smart. Was that plastic safe for a microwave? I don't know. I just knew that when that steam blew it open, it was probably done. And it usually was. So that wasn't healthy. Anyway, moving on. Okay, this, let's see, do I really want to get into this? Black voters say they'll remember Trump's racist tweets. I think one thing about this is just the poor journalism. I don't know that I remember everything I want to say about this. Geez, that looks like looks like a figure from a wax museum for some reason. It's kind of funny. So moving down here, excuse me. Where's the security around this guy? I don't know. Kind of almost looks like Anderson Cooper, but he's not. Let's see. Okay, this one lady, Robin Stevens, lived through Jim Crow and thought the worst of racism days were behind her. Then Donald Trump told 4 American congressmen and women of color to go back to where they came from. It was very hurtful to see the person who's the leader of the country that I live in and that I respect and love speak that way to U.S. citizens. Well, I would say with all the evidence of that Ilion, what's her name? Hang on a minute, I gotta go look at what her name was. What's her name? You know who I'm talking about. She wears a towel on her head. She's from Minneapolis or something, Somalia, and she's originally from Somalia. Anyway, so racist tweets, plural. First of all, there's only one tweet. Well, there's 2, but it's the same tweet. Okay, you only have a certain word limit. And this is what, I don't know all the quote-unquote tweets that they could maybe lump into racism, but because somebody says, now I'm not saying this was wise. It wasn't wise. It was divisive and incendiary. And many times, Bible say even, if you've got a problem with someone, speak to them privately first, What stopped him from picking up the phone, calling them, having a dialogue with them directly? Of course, that probably wouldn't be successful, but that's where you start. Maybe this tweet would have been, he would have had time to think it through more. Maybe he would have been wiser in the way he worded it. Hang on a minute. Let me see here. So interesting to see progressive Democratic congresswomen who originally came from countries whose governments are complete and total catastrophe. Now, first of all, I'm sorry. Well, I might as well just stay here. First of all, he lumped them all together, right? I went and looked at the background of all of them. All of them, 3 of them, one or both parents came from another country. I believe they were all born here. One in Massachusetts, one in the Bronx, that's AOC. One in, I can't remember the other place. Okay, whatever, doesn't matter. But that, what's her name? This one right here with the hat. Okay, she's from Somalia. Well, this is pretty accurate. And she is only like, what, 20-something? And she comes in and she's like, she's some savant. She's some government savant. She comes in and she says a lot of horrible things. She really does. And very divisive things. I mean, again, what do I always say? All the world's a stage. A lot of these are just actors, okay? We know this one right here, this AOC, she wasn't just a bartender. I don't know how many acting jobs she did before, but she auditioned to be this candidate. She went to audition to a group of people who handled everything for her, and she got the part. She got the part. She's playing the part. It's a fact. You didn't know that? Go look into it. I'm not here to teach you everything. I'm here to talk about how I read the news, and I go in my side rails. I don't need to do that. I just kind of need to, kind of like skimming a book. That's kind of how I look at it. I don't need to read the chapter really, but I dig in a little more. And I'm not mansplaining or talking down to anybody. I'm just saying I'm doing these for my own edification and maybe to share how you can look at the news and realize how much it's just bad journalism, propaganda, mind control, and total shite, and we're being lied to left, front, and center. Left, front. I don't know. Does that make sense? Left, front. All around us. Mind control is everywhere. I say that all the time. I've said it for years. Okay. Okay. So he said, let's see. The worst, most corrupt, and inept anywhere in the world, even if they have a functioning government at all. Now, this is Somalia. That's what it is. If they even have a government, that is like the most screwed up country probably on the planet. It's just complete and utter chaos, or at least last I checked. Completely run by gangs. It's messed up. Okay, but he first of all, plural congresswomen, plural governments. First of all, AOC's dad, I think it was, came from Puerto Rico. Well, Puerto Rico is kind of part of the United States. This was either a blunder, right? The guy's a fool, or he's a puppet. And this kind of division is part of the script. This kind of incendiary, there's very, very smart and experienced and inside people who have said there's nothing that happens in government that they didn't know was going to happen ahead of time. Okay. And it even comes down to, I believe this. Okay. Because look at the fallout from it. You know, now you've got the non-thinking person reacting emotionally. Do you think this woman has looked at that and said, well, I know he meant that woman. He didn't mean the others, and he just kind of blundered? Oh, no. He's a racist now. He's a racist because all of them, one of them's a black lady, one of them's I'm never going to say I'm African-American, so, you know, if that offends you, bye. Okay? I've told the story. I don't want to take time to do it again. I've talked to Africans who will not let black Americans call themselves African-American. Never mind. That's about it. I'm going to get into that story again for now. Yeah, I'm not feeling good. It wouldn't normally be that short. So do you think obviously she didn't, okay? You could call me a racist now. Go right ahead. Doesn't make it true, okay? Because I'm not. Anyway, so she didn't go and say, well, I know he shouldn't have said the plural, and he shouldn't have said countries, plural. He really meant Ileana. I don't think it's Ileana. What's her name? Whatever it is. Omar. Omar. Ileana Omar. Is it Ileana? I don't think it's Ileana. It's something else. At any rate, go back and fix the totally broken, crime-infested places from which they came. Well, first of all, I don't know if he was, and again, actually, I know he wasn't. He doesn't care. Okay, I've already concluded that for myself. And the fact is, and you need to conclude it for yourself. You follow the yellow brick road of truth, okay, and you will conclude the same. If you've got a heart for truth, you'll find out yourself. I'm that confident about it. Just go right ahead. If you're watching this far, you probably do. Okay, good for you. So let me tell you that this Omar gal, it probably won't go anywhere. She really probably shouldn't be in office. You know, there's evidence she married her brother. She falsified evidence to get in the country in the first place and get citizenship, or documents, I mean, or came in under a fraud or whatever, you know. I mean, again, I don't know. She's not been convicted of that, but that's sort of what's brewing. But I don't, you know, like all the things that brew, right? The server in the bathroom stuff that brewed, the birth certificate stuff that brewed, it never goes anywhere. They'll have people in power, some of the worst people in the world, with all kinds of stuff in their closet, but even if somebody gets wind of it, it'll get quaffed. Is that a word? It'll just get snuffed out. You know, it'll maybe be in the story to get people excited, keep them divided a little while, then it'll go away. So I do want to bring up something about this character Trump again that I want to talk about before I move on. So let's see here. This is yesterday. I don't know why it says 18 and the other one said 35. Maybe this was, let's see, 1:23 p.m. Central. So that's about, 2 or 3 p.m. No, 2:23 p.m. Eastern. Maybe by the end of the day, there were, a few more, 17 more, right? I don't know. Okay. Either way, the guy ran on the border. All right. So let me say this. All right. My son, fear thou the Lord and the King, and meddle not with them that are given to change, for their calamity shall rise suddenly, and who knows the ruin of them both. Okay? So, what does that mean? Fear the Lord. Okay, if you're new to, I don't want to get into the word, fear does not mean cower in fear or be afraid. It's not what that means. It has more to do with respect unto the Lord, and the King. But meddle not with them that are given to change. Your president, your favorite, we lost his picture. Well, your favorite reality TV star, really, okay, is given to change. He'll talk out of both sides of his mouth, depending on who he's trying to impress. Now you may say, well, he speaks really forcefully, and he said smart things to Hillary and all this, and he also was palling around with her at one point before that, right? And who was he catering to? He was catering to the audience that was deciding whether to put her or him into office, or maybe they already knew, and she knew, and he knew, and they were just going through the motions because they got to keep the people divided. Remember, a house divided cannot stand. That's Bible, right? But then everybody stands up at their Chamber of Commerce meeting, or maybe they do it somewhere in some elementary school like they used to, and say we're one nation under God. Well, not really. Now we're becoming multicultural. We're becoming many nations, not even under the same flag. You know, how do I know? Look at the people driving around you that are, you know, having their signs of El Salvador or whatever hanging from their window, or painted across the window in the back of their truck, and you know, sort of a see-through decal. You know, what flag are they really under? Oh, they ran away from that country to get here, right? Oh, it's so bad there, but now we're going to fly their flag in our backyard, you know, when we're having our fiestas. Okay. But anyway, what's the point here? Wisdom is don't support, don't meddle not with them, meaning don't have anything to do with them. Don't have anything to do with those who are given to change. Now, we all change. We all can change our mind. It's your prerogative. It's my prerogative. And thank God I have the ability to do that once I have more information, or once I'm wiser or older. This guy's, I don't know how old he is. I don't remember how old Trump is. 71, 70, whatever he is. You know, he's kind of set in a lot of his ways, and he's really been in the public eye in the last 10 years more than ever. And he's been all over the place. What's another way he's given to change? Okay. If I was in charge, you'd go to jail. Well, is Hillary in jail? No. Okay. Didn't follow through on that. He came out challenging Obama's authenticity of his citizenship because of a false birth certificate. Where did that go? Well, he's renounced his position on that. What kind of man is that? No backbone, no character. That's a guy given to change, who will change any way the wind blows. Maybe it's any way the money blows. I don't know. Maybe he's being blackmailed. I really don't know. I don't know. It doesn't matter. If he had any character, he'd get out of the way if he's that corruptible. Okay, but he doesn't. So, you know, believe me, as I've said before, I'd rather listen to him than her. But anyhow, so, okay, let's see. Where were we? All right, not going to really get into this. FTC fines Facebook $5 billion as limited oversight on privacy. You know, this character and this company comes up in the news all the time, worldwide even, for privacy violations and that kind of thing. And whatever happens? Nothing. Not really anything. Part of the witchcraft is to let you know things, but, you know, makes it look like they've done something. But, you know, I've said, I got on Facebook circa 2008 or 2009, pretty early on. And I didn't really use it for a couple years. And then maybe about the time, if you've been on it that long as well, it started really gaining some traction and popularity. And I kind of revisited it and then reconnected with a bunch of old friends and that kind of thing. You know, all the fun about it. I quickly turned it into something else, kind of like this. But, you know, nobody wanted to hear it. Nobody wanted to hear 9/11 was an inside job. Nobody. Not my friends. You know. Anyway. Hang on a minute. So let's just move on from that. That's all I want to say. But oh yeah, what I was going to say, adding to that, is like for not 10 years, but a long time, I've been saying that Facebook is basically a spy tool. That's all it is. Spy tool. Okay. Just need to be aware of it. I'm not saying, oh, get off Facebook, this and that. Just be aware of it. So is that Alexa. Throw that piece of crap out. Anyway. All right, now this is a good article. One by one, I'm getting really tired. I don't know if I can make it through the rest of this video. I'm getting not only tired, I'm starting to break into a sweat, and I'm not feeling really great. One by one, little boys and girls took turns smashing a piñata shaped like an ice officer. I don't know why I'm laughing. Wait till you see the video. Let's just watch the video. Okay, I got to refresh it because that's not the video. I watched it first. Excuse me. Oh my gosh. Oh, this is not funny, but it's funny. It's actually so wrong. Now, one thing I want you to notice, okay, as we watch this video, you'll find that local newscasters have no problem making dire faces, or even making a remark after the little, mini article, or I don't know what you call it, mini segment is over, or some piece of news. And basically, whether it's one word or an expression or maybe 2 or 3 words, having basically an opinion, good or bad, about something, right? No problem. Not this. You watch this. Not what they keep it. They put it in the hands of the social media people. That's all. Just notice that. And again, this is about stuff that you may not think about normally. What's absent? One thing we always have to ask is, what didn't they say? What didn't these people say? And, there's a great video. I should have pulled it up on this, where you'll find, I don't know how widespread this little video was, whether this has been picked up by national outlets or whatnot, but there's a video on YouTube where somebody starts with a video like this, and they're reporting something, and then it screen splits, and it's another news agency in another state saying the exact same words, and then it splits into 4, same thing. It goes out to like 100 little windows of all of them saying the exact same words. You ever notice little earpieces in here? They're limited to what they can say, and they're told what to say. And who's telling them? And who's telling them in that wide, and it's not just limited to like, well, they're all CBS, of course. Maybe they have a script that comes down from the central desk. No, these are all different news agencies. I'll find it sometime. And maybe I'll pop it in. No, I'm not going to commit myself to any more work. I may go and edit a little thing on this later, but I'm going to leave it go. Well, let's watch.
Smashing this piñata is shaped like an ICE officer. Now some are asking, was this community block party in bad taste?
Our Eric Cox is live in the East Side neighborhood with a story you'll see only on 2. Eric.
Erica, Brad, the event was organized by a chamber of 5 East Side area businesses. A representative says they never would have imagined their event would cause such commotion, but one of the people behind the group that brought the piñata say they were banking on making a statement. Tonight's story features children were blurring their faces.
All right, break it!
Candy with a side of controversy. A child swinging at a piñata depicting a federal ICE agent during East Side Community Day in Chicago.
Some parents were holding their kids to hit the piñata.
Okay, so I want to stop, and you may just want to watch it right through, and I'm sorry, but I'm bringing it to you. So just give me a break, and this is about kind of thinking this through. So first of all, the guy started off saying some are questioning whether or not this was in bad taste. What kind of an opening statement is that? This is not in bad taste? Is it even just taste? Now that right there is a limiting statement. That's sort of like I don't know what you might call it, a safe island, or I'm trying to think of the word. Maybe I've not got the right word for it, but it's it caps off where you can go with it. It's whether or not now it's in bad taste. Well, it's more than bad taste. First of all, what's an ICE officer represent? What if that was a police officer? Think about that. What if that was a police officer? Now, I'm all about, people can make effigies and burn effigies and everything, but it's saying something. Now, this is like, I think they said, they'll say it later, or maybe they already said it and I can't remember, like 8 communities or 8 blocks or something. This is, I think, a Chamber of Commerce event, right? And they had a piñata, and you'll see it's not just a little, that looks like he looks brown. It's either a very tan white kid with dark hair, or he's a Hispanic kid. Boy, excuse me. I don't like the word kid. And then you'll see little white girl, whatever. The children don't know. They're not really thinking about it. But, a lot of children don't miss a trick. And this imagery and this experience goes into and no doubt some of their parents maybe tell them more about it. And some of them are old enough to know, what ICE is and whatever. But basically, this is symbolic. They're beating a man who represents the laws of the country, right? They're going to destroy him. And with adult support, with community support. Now, the guy that being interviewed is called the Brown Beret, and at the end they show a woman in the holding a sign or something. You don't go under the beret and wear like military and stuff if you're not like a militant type of a group. Now, have they done violence? Do they do violence? No, but that's just really, want to talk about bad taste, right? Well, it means something too. It means something. People don't want to think about what it means, but they're teaching these children disrespect for the laws of the land, disrespect for those who represent this. What's this going to turn into? These are planting seeds that will bear fruit, right? The Bible says, train a child in the way they should go, and when they're old, they will not depart from it. What way are they training these children? And the news guys who are old enough to know, if I was a news anchor and they said that, and it's like, well, I want you to start off by saying, well, people are questioning if this is in bad taste. I'd say, you know what? I'm not going to say that. It isn't bad taste. And I'm not an idiot. And my audience aren't idiot either. This is in horrible taste, and we ought to condemn it. Believe me, you know that your newspaper editorial or many writers or many news talking heads, they have no problem condemning stuff. No problem. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to make these connections that this is wrong. And in fact, some people could call it child abuse. Some people would. I don't know that I'd call it child abuse. I think it's parents. Well, I don't know. It is sort of child abuse in a way. It's they're people mishandle their children all the time. They mishandle them. They're given a charge, they're given a responsibility, a gift of God, and they let it go to shit.
Pictures posted on social media show several other children in line, waiting to take a swing at the political piñata. Many Facebook commenters applauding the idea. Others in disagreement, calling the activity ignorant, disrespectful, and teaching the young to hate.
It was not meant in a negative way at all.
The young to hate.
It was not meant in a negative way at all. Towards law enforcement.
Anthony Martinez leads the Chicago chapter of Los Brown Berets, a nationwide activist group aimed at overcoming inequalities against Chicanos. He tells CBS 2 his organization bought up.
I'm sorry. I don't know how much of that you heard because I may have had the microphone muted. I don't even remember now. Before I back up, I'm going to go again in reverse order. First of all, notice the ICE pinata. Total white guy. He isn't brown. Do you know how many Border Patrol agents, I don't know about ICE agents, do you know how many of them are Hispanic? Quite a number of them. I don't know exactly how many, but I've seen many of them, even ones in high leadership, that are Hispanic themselves, but they make a white pinata of the ICE agent that the children are given bats to beat to hell, right? So I don't know if I had my mic on before, but I was talking about
the Chicago chapter of Los Brown Berets, a nationwide activist.
Okay, let me back up here.
This group aimed at overcoming.
Was not meant in a negative way at all.
Okay, all I was saying about that is he's gaslighting everyone, by extension, you and me. Okay, and I said a little more about that, but just for sake of time.
Towards law enforcement.
Anthony Martinez leads the Chicago.
And then
teaching the young to hate.
Oh, shoot, sorry, this
was not meant.
Disrespectful. And teaching.
Not my best video. Thanks for your patience. Okay, so ignorant, disrespectful, and teaching the young to hate. Again, I may be repeating myself, or maybe you just saw the cursor move on the screen. I don't even know. So, out of all the comments, I don't know where they pulled them from, but obviously like a Facebook or something like that. Ignorant, disrespectful. Well, people could say that, and that's just sounds like opinions, and it is, right? and I mean, it may be fact, but it's opinions, but this is the only one that really is more to the point, teaching the young to hate. Now, Bible say, you know, if you hate your brother, it's like murder, right? Well, we see what they're doing to this representative of, number one, the rule of law, the laws of the land. Number two, somebody that many of these communities are dealing with and they may see on a regular basis. Number three, a white guy, okay? Who's a racist, right? All right. So I apologize. This is not my my best job. I'm doing a video. I don't even know if the mic was on. Maybe I've repeated myself, but I also, you know, live without a net, not going back.
Group aimed at overcoming inequalities against Chicanos. He tells CBS 2 his organization bought a Batman piñata and transformed it into this.
So we're just making a statement.
Fuerte, fuerte.
A statement that the federal government's recent actions regarding deportation are what's wrong.
Taking children from their parents, separating them.
At the same event, children were offered a chance to throw balls at a painted image of President Trump.
And it affected the event. And that's okay.
Marvin Covington is a member of the East Side Chamber of Commerce.
It wasn't told to me, hey, it's going to be that ice piñata coming, but it was there.
The organizers of the mid-July event, meant to be fun and family-oriented, now creating factions within the community. Will there be ice piñatas next year?
It's not for me to say, because I didn't know they were coming this year.
Covington.
Okay, that guy is not fit to lead Chamber of Commerce. Clearly, right? First of all, it was clear he knew they were there when it was going on. I mean, why wouldn't he be there? I know someone who works in the local Chamber of Commerce, and they're at every event all the time, and events they aren't even required to go to, charity stuff all the time. So that guy did nothing, no spine, or he supports it. Who knows? Will there be, now they're creating factions in the community, he said. The news guy said it. They've created factions in the community. So divided, you know, united we stand, divided we fall. They're divisive. Division. Right? Destroyers. They're destroyers of unity and community. Destroyers. Right? That guy, you know, he just sounded like a nice guy. He just, he seems like kind of easygoing. It's like, well, it's not for me to say. You know, I didn't know it was coming this year. What kind of leader are you, man? You saw that thing come wheeling out of somebody's trunk and they're setting it up. I'd be over there right now and say, get that thing the hell out of here. You know, you're not doing this. This is a community event, and you're not, you know, I'm not going to get into all the things, but I'm in charge of this event. It's a Chamber of Commerce event, and I'm a president of the Chamber of Commerce, and it's not allowed. You know, file a complaint. Get it out of here now. Boom. Solved. Right? But no, who knows who that guy's working for, if he is, or he's just an idiot, or he's part of the, you know, he's got this, well, it's clearly the spirit of the age is in him, right? Anyway, enough of that. Let's move on. You know, the news guys, they'll finish it up here. Well, let's watch it.
Tells me the event was still a success despite the surprise piñata. He tells me for that reason they do plan on continuing those community days next year. Meanwhile, Martinez says that, Meanwhile, Martinez tells me that the proceeds from those controversial kids' activities will go towards helping asylum seekers. We're live in Chicago's East Side neighborhood this evening. Eric Cox, CBS 2 News.
Okay, I thought they went back to the people at the desk, you know. Let's see this video. Okay, so I guess I can carry on here. We're pushing an hour, so what? Okay, we'll watch this video, right? I just want to make a comment about this. Shoot, illegals taunt agents to open fire during tense border clash. This came out yesterday. This is from the AmericanMirror.com. Illegal aliens are growing more brazen on the border. And my friends, you already know this, my brothers and sisters. You know that they're going to continue to grow more brazen. So now they're showing these guys, taunting them to shoot them. And they're basically saying, it's 1 minute and 30 seconds, just bear with me, all right?
Ahí lo estoy filmando, lo estoy filmando. I'll film you, of puta! Son of the bitch! I'll film you! That's it! That's it! Ahí! Ahí! Claudia, ven!
Por favor, yo soy menor de edad y estoy sola aquí. Vámonos para atrás.
¡Jolly! ¡Jolly, Lizzy, venga! Si venimos hablando. You are shooting! We speak with you! You are shooting! You are shooting! You are shooting! I want to speak with you! You are shooting! Shoot! 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 This is not the fucking rules! Not the rules!
Okay, couple observations. One, the way he trilled his R sounds like El Salvador to me. I know a little something about this, and not Mexican, so this is somebody who's maybe come a long way. But he's saying, shoot, shoot. This is not your effing rules. Think about that. Those people have come all this way with this idea that they can get in here by hook or by crook. They'll get in here, and that this is a joke. Why wouldn't they believe it? Why wouldn't they believe it? Because it is a joke, you know? Anyway, the point is that when it serves the right purpose, and now it was only one guy that I understood to be saying shoot, shoot, shoot. See, he says this is not their effing rules. And it did something, I thought that, another observation, it did sound like a taser. I didn't see a taser or hear anybody moaning and groaning from a taser. 47, again, mind control word, undocumented individuals. No, these are an army of invaders, you know, attempted to invade the United States. When you hear illegally enter, you've got to immediately default to invade the United States. I say this all the time. I'm actually kind of getting sick of making Sludge Report videos because I have to repeat myself a lot, and I'm kind of bored with it because I I know all this stuff and I don't need to talk about it. I'm not getting paid to teach anybody. Ignoring commands to stop, and this is not a monetized channel. I have like 5 subscribers or something, you know. Who knows how many of them ever watch it, and I have no intent to do that. That's not my job. Okay, I'm doing this for me. All right, ignoring commands to stop. The group suddenly rushed temporary barricades, bent metal poles, destroying property, disabled the concertina wire. I don't know if they had wire cutters or something. Let's see. Agents deployed tear gas and pepper ball launching systems in an effort to stop them. Mexican officials assisted with apprehending the perpetrators. 2 will be charged with interference. Well, I didn't really see any Mexican officials, and I didn't see them. Maybe they were there. There you go. My point being is that they are getting more brazen, right? They come here expecting that they won't be shot. I've said before, one way to, a lot cheaper than building a wall, set up machine gun turrets every, I don't know how many, quarter mile or whatever the range is, that you could go with. And of course you can have your electronic tripwires like you might have at Area 51, so you know where and when somebody's crossing the border all the way across. And I don't know how many you'd have to actually kill before the message makes it all the way back to the tip of South America and to the Horn of Africa and to the far deserts in the Middle East, that you can't just invade the United States and claim asylum. You can't just come in here like that. Okay, you think I'm a racist or whatever? Do you know what they're doing to your future, to your way of life? Do you know? You really need to think it through. What are they going to do to your children? Their way of life. One thing, they're not only bringing crime, rapists, and murderers with them. Yeah, are there any good ones? Yes. Probably the majority are just, they're all like lawbreakers. But probably the majority of them really are just, like you or me at some point in our lives, we're just sheeple. They're going along, trying to make a better life, whatever. But let me tell you, it doesn't matter. If they can get in, guess who else is coming in with them? Yeah, like the worst elements of the societies that they're coming from. The worst. You think that we've had some bad actors in the United States. Yeah, you get into some of these other countries and you've got some real demonic activity. You know, hey, I'm not saying it's not the same wherever you go. It's, you know, Paul McCartney would sing. Fall McCartney, let me say that. Oh, don't go flying out of the back of the wagon. Yeah, Fall McCartney. Okay, I'll close that. Let's see here. Oh yeah, so okay, I'm gonna wrap it up. There's probably more to say, and I'm gonna end it. So let's just keep it. It's an hour or so. But you know, there was I happened to see a news conference of Trump and Mike Collins and Buzz Aldrin and Neil Armstrong's family and Vice President Mike Pence, and then a guy from NASA, you know, talking about their mission to Mars, that they're wanting to put men on Mars. You know, first we got to get back to the moon, 2024. Let me tell you something. We're not going to Mars, and we're not going back to the moon. If we do, it was filmed somewhere else. Now, you can go look into that yourself, but let me tell you where Mars is, people. At least one location for Mars is Devon Island in Greenland. Here's a bunch of images of Devon Island in Greenland. Now, how do I know? Well, Uncle Benny, they're just doing training exercises up there. Really? That's quite remote, quite far away. You know how expensive it would be to get... Look where Canada is, okay? Why would they not need to go any further than New Mexico, Arizona, the Mojave Desert, something like that, where they do all kinds of other test grounds, right? Why would they need to go to Devon Island? Well, the likelihood of anybody trucking on up there without getting caught, or willing to do it, or affording to do it, or being able to, you know, make it in that remote area is a lot slimmer. It's a lot easier to control who gets in there. So there's lots of evidence for this, okay? Let me just give you one. I didn't go pull up a picture or anything. You'll see these Mars rover shots where there's like dust on there, and then later on it's cleaned off. Well, how did that happen? Did this thing have a little brush and a little self-cleaning? Like, did they bring along a little maid, Mary Maid service, a little Mary Maid rover that follows behind? Cleans it up? You know, it's just like puzzling evidence, okay? And there's lots of it. There's lots of it. So, you know, a lot you can do with an orange filter. Now, these have lots of images of like these guys in spacesuits, but the rovers are what we've really seen of Mars lately. These rovers that go around and take soil samples and pictures of the terrain, and you know, lots of people want to say, oh, that looks like evidence of alien life there and all this. You know, I don't even know that Mars is really a planet. The Bible says nothing about planets, and it talks about wandering stars. And there's one article I want to get to that really this ties into, and that had to do with grades. Maybe it's gone now. Excuse me. Where'd it go? It's gone. So it had to do with GPAs being up, but college students being dumber, not studying, and college getting easier. That's what it was. Where'd it go? Oh, this did get picked up. Maybe I did get this from here. I don't remember. When I say this, I mean the pinata deal. Well, I'd have to go over to the site and pull it up. I guess I'll have to leave it for tomorrow. But yeah, I'll leave it for tomorrow. Maybe I'll touch on the Mars thing again and we'll get back to it. But you know, again, if you go flying out of the back of the wagon, as I like to say, if this is where you get off the bus, fine. You know, I'm not talking out my butt. I'm not. I had a lot invested into space and imagination about alien life and space travel and going to the moon and going to other planets and science fiction movies. I had a lot invested in that. But you know what I'm more invested in? I'd rather be in the truth. Okay? All right. So that'll do it. If this is your first time through, you know, give me another shot anyway, because I really don't feel very good about this video. I just not felt good all the way through it. But anyway, I have some verses and things that are in the comments, and I'm probably not going to go put links to all the articles in there. Yeah. All right. Well, you know what? Make a great day. Thanks for coming out.